Hello.
Hello.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Yule. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy whatever you
Happy
happen
everything.
to. Happy everything. whatever you choose to do during this holiday season, happy you.
Happy whatever it is you're doing. Do it to the mostest. You doing. I got nothing.
Hi.
I lost track of what I was saying. We just want you to do well.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you're doing, do well.
Yeah.
Be well. Be joyful.
Get loves.
Get loves.
Welcome to Discussions with Davis.
Yes. Hi, I'm Davis.
I'm Beth. Just Beth.
Yeah.
I'm having discussions with him.
Hi. And we're going to do something much more surface level.
Yeah, we decided, keeping with our holiday season, to discuss Christmas specials.
Yes, our favorite Christmas specials.
Our favorite Christmas specials. And these have been on the air for, I don't know, when did
decades.
Rudolph come out? Like the 40s?
Oh, man, probably. Let's see.
But, yeah, the little...
Wow, this one doesn't even say.
But, yeah, little Christmassy shows to watch during the Christmas season. Make you feel warm and gooey inside. And,
Okay, I got it. The Roman numerals on this, if I've translated them right, are 1965. No, 64.
That's
Sorry.
about right.
MCMLXIV. So, yeah, 1964.
And this, copyright, 1965. So, the mid-60s.
Yeah.
I think when everyone thinks of Christmas specials, they automatically think of this one first. Charlie Brown's Christmas special. At least in my family, this was the most popular one. I mean, I wasn't always that big on it. I had other ones that I liked more than this, but we still always watched this.
It's such a staple.
Every Christmas. Yeah. And the same thing with Rudolph. We watch that every year. But there are so many Christmas specials. And
there really is.
It's everything has a Christmas special.
Yeah, and we did everything. You're not kidding. Yeah. Everything.
Everything.
Like shows you've probably never heard of have Christmas specials. I remember, shows that were from way before our time. The Waltons. It was about a family growing up in the Depression. I watched a movie. I found it on YouTube at one point. It was the Homecoming. It was a Christmas special called The Homecoming, and that's where you get the phrase John Boy, because the older son, his name is John. Or, his dad called him John Boy.
So in Garfield, Doc Boy.
I think that's a reference to that. Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, yeah. I mean, just about every show that was on TV did at least one episode that was a Christmas special.
Yeah.
And there were several on The Simpsons. But those are just Christmassy episodes of the show that they already did. These were like, kind of a little bit longer features than just the half-hour block.
Yeah.
So,
the only thing I can think of that really didn't do like a Christmas episode would be like Star Trek. I can't really think of a Christmas special for Star Trek.
In any of the series?
Nothing comes to mind. If anybody knows of any, let me know. Hit me in the comment section.
Yeah.
Please. I'm very curious. Let me know.
But yeah, just about every show's got a Christmassy version of their show.
Even Star Wars.
Oh, God. I forgot about the Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh, there's no forgetting that monstrosity. George Lucas, you know what you did.
But yeah, I mean, everyone's got to watch Christmas specials a little bit.
Even people who have never actually read Peanuts, a tribute not to the staying power of the Charlie Brown Christmas. People who have never read Peanuts know that movie.
And I'm not really that big of a Peanuts fan personally. The comics, I always read the comic strip, but the movies, the
Race for Your Life,
Charlie Brown, all those other little ones, that new piece of crap that came out, that CG, and
yeah, I skipped that.
Yeah,
I saw Race for Your Life a few times way back, but yeah, the new ones I skipped
yeah,
it.
I mean, I was never really compelled to watch them, but this one I watched every year.
No, I was just checking the levels.
Okay. If you hear a humming in the background, we have the heater going, and we're not turning it off. So
It's too doggone
it's
cold.
cold in here. So
It's actually a little bit warmer today than it has been like earlier
Oh
this
my
week.
God,
There was
no.
ice on everything.
yeah, but this morning, like before the clouds broke up, it was frigid. It was like cuss a lot cold, you know? It was like I went out to run errands this morning. It's like, my God, it's so cold.
It
I was actually
felt like
surprised.
rain. It really felt like it was going to rain.
Yeah, there were some pretty dark storm clouds, but
It
yeah,
probably did in
I
the hills.
actually expected everything to be frosted over because it was so cold. I think
Yeah.
it was just too dry. There was nothing to frost. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but
The
it
humidity
was so cold.
There
this
was
morning.
barely any condensation or anything.
Yeah. But
But-
anyway, back to the matter at hand.
Yes.
So,
Christmas specials.
yeah, and I have this tape. This is a very special tape. This is a VHS tape. That
Time capsule.
Is a time capsule. This tape is 31 years old. Older than probably most of you people listening or watching right now. And it's a tape that my parents taped a bunch of Christmas specials off TV onto. And I watch this every year. I watched it the other day. And it's got all the favorites on it. It's kind of a mixtape of, these. It's got Charlie Brown's Christmas, it's got Rudolph, the Grinch, so many other ones.
Yeah, the original cartoon Grinch.
Yes. Yes, the Chuck Jones.
And it's even got like one from, what was it, Sally Forth? Or no, Better for Worse.
Better for Worse, yeah.
Yeah.
And I never watched any other shows or cartoons from For Better for Worse. I just read the comic strips.
Yeah, I didn't know if
Yeah.
it had any other
I think they just did like specials, like Christmas specials, Easter specials, things like that. The same thing with Family Circus. There's a Family Circus on there too.
Yeah. Family Circus was always a little too dry for my tastes.
It was too wholesome, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the kids and they're in a happy, well-raised family, so it doesn't lead for a lot of comedy. So.
No, and your childhood more closely reflects, Malcolm in the Middle or The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Family who resembles the humble figurines.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to relate to. Just a little hard to relate. But but yeah, I mean, Charlie Brown, and Rudolph here is such a weird amalgamation of things that it was voiced over mostly by Canadians.
Yeah, they put Burl Ives in there.
They just scotch taped him in at the last second.
Just so they could have an American actor in there that people would know.
Yeah. Franken and Bass, when they made these movies, they made a whole series of, they've got this one, they've got the Heat Miser and Year Without a Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. Old Heat Miser and Snow Miser. And what was the one with Burger Meisterburger? It was like, he's in charge of, he's like the Lord Mayor of this town.
Wasn't that the Year Without Santa Claus?
Was it the same one?
I think so.
Could have been. Somebody let us know.
But, there's also, the little drummer boy, something with Jack Frost.
I think that might have been it, yeah. The name of it, Jack Frost. There's been billions of Jack Frost movies. Oof.
But, back in the day, the stop animation.
Clay animation, stop animation. Yeah.
Clay or figurine.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so dated by today's standards, but there's something so charming about it, too. Because, back in the 60s, that's what they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And you're right, it is charming. It's weirdly compulsive. It's like, it's believable that these little things are moving around.
I know. And my favorite character in that is Yukon Cornelius.
Yes.
He is awesome.
He's off the rails, and he wants it to happen to you, too.
Silver! I thought you wanted gold. I changed my mind.
This fog is as thick as peanut butter.
Don't you mean pea soup?
You eat what you like, and I'll eat what I like.
Yukon Cornelius is awesome.
It kind of reminds me of Boomy.
Not that crazy.
Not that crazy?
Not that crazy.
I don't know, man. Definitely operates on his own wavelength. Like, all of his dogs. He's got
his sleigh dogs.
Yeah. None of them are like traditional sleigh dogs.
Pack animals, like huskies type things. Yeah.
Yeah. And each one of them is a different one. There's like 4 different dogs, and each one's a different one.
Yeah, they're like lap dogs, like a Cocker Spaniel, a poodle. You know?
Shih Tzu, poodle. Yeah. Just, what?
Back when, graphics didn't matter and storytelling was everything.
Yeah.
It was just great.
It's just funny, and it's heartwarming, and it's good. And it's aged incredibly well despite the campiness. In fact, I would go so far as to say that the campy cheesiness helps sell it and stay. Because it's not meant to be taken serious, and that because it's just a funny, goofy movie. So being kind of campy, cheesy animation helps it stay purposefully cheesy.
Right.
Like, it doesn't take itself too serious. It's not trying to be super serious. At least I think. I don't know. Franken and Bass, it's so weird. Yeah. The voice acting was all done in Canada, but the animation was done in Japan. And at the last second, they scotch taped Burl Ives in as the narrator. I sometimes feel like these guys were this company was being ran by the seat of their pants.
Yeah. Fortunately, there are things in there that were commonplace in the 60s that aren't, as acceptable now. And the version I have on this tape of Rudolph took out certain little things that were a little bit too sexist to be putting on, in 1992.
Oh, I mean when Donner declares, this is man's work.
Yeah, they took that out.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Naturally, Mrs. Donner wanted to go too, but he said, this is man's work, and left. But, in 65, 64, whenever it was they made that, it wasn't a big deal. I mean, a lot of people...
If I've translated that correctly.
A lot of people are getting their pennies in a twist about, older
movies
like this because they were made in a different times. Like, yeah, they were made in a... It's not right. I'll give you that. But it was made in a time where it was acceptable. So you can't take old stuff and judge them by modern standards. It's just not going to work.
No.
All you have to do is, like, if you don't like what somebody's saying and you're in these videos and you're letting your kids watch them, you can, I don't know, parent them and tell them this was acceptable back then, but today we know now that it is wrong. So,
what's considered moral and normal changes a lot over time.
It's different, but it's subjective by person. Everyone's got different set of morals and different set of,
For all we know, 100 years from now, having pets could be akin. Because there's people out there that are dead set on they're already moving it. Just real quick here, I won't get on too big of a rant. Because animals are smart. Most dogs are freakishly smart. Even most cats are fairly smart.
My dog was dumb as a post, but, we loved her.
Dumb dogs are extra lovable. I don't know why it is. But, Forbane Jr. Dumb dogs. I loved those guys. They were my buddies, man. They were my best friends.
Stupid dog. Booga, booga, booga.
Courage. Okay, so because, and you would consider them sentient, at least. At least to a level, they're sentient beings. So the idea of having another sentient being as a pet, it's captive. And to some people, having a pet is akin to slavery. You've enslaved this animal for your entertainment. So for all we know, 100 years from now, having a pet might be completely taboo.
Mm-hmm. You never know.
You never know.
The way these activists go, you never know what's going to be right 5 minutes from now. So you can't really,
Well, I'm just saying, judging these 50-year-old movies by today's standards, don't do that to yourselves.
Mm-mm. So it's like, okay, yeah, great. If it's your job and your life's ambition to point out what's wrong with everybody and try and make yourself look better, then these scenes are, treasure trove,
But for the rest of
easy
us,
picking. But for the rest of us who actually enjoy these,
we're watching Muppets Christmas Carol and having more fun with our lives.
Yes. We enjoy our lives much more.
Which I'll move right along. And Muppets Christmas Carol is hands down my favorite Christmas movie, bar none. I can watch it any time of year.
He does.
I can, yeah.
Well, I mean, Michael Caine.
Yes!
Michael Caine. He's probably one of the greatest actors ever.
Definitely.
And
I just remembered that meme you told me. That when it's like, Michael Caine and Tim Curry. Because he had Muppet Treasure Island. Mm-hmm. It's like Michael Caine works so well because he regards the other with Muppets.
Because he regards the other Muppets
as actors. Tim Curry works well with Muppets because he regards himself as a Muppet. Can we get this man some stem cell therapy? We need more Tim Curry movies.
Tim Curry, right? He's too awesome. But yeah, it's a well-made rendition of
A Christmas Carol.
A Christmas Carol.
The Charles Dickens novel A Christmas Carol.
I mean, yeah, there's two Marleys, but you can't have those two guys. One of those guys without. Yeah, you can't have one of those without the other.
It just doesn't work. Their heckling jokes don't work without the both of them.
Yeah, because
it's going to be heckling again.
It's going to be doing anything again. Yeah. And the self-awareness in this movie is great too. Gonzo and Rizzo Gonzo's the narrator. Rizzo
No, he's Charles Dickens.
Yeah.
He is Charles Dickens.
Yeah. Yeah. And Rizzo is just kind of, along for the ride. And so
no, he is there for the food.
He's there for the food, yes. But he doesn't eat the whole time.
Not for lack of effort, though.
I mean, you ever read the story of the Christmas Carol? It's scary.
Oh, yeah.
It's freaky.
I mean, as classic English literature, 1860, I think, something like that. And I should have looked that up. But the book is way far darker. And more menacing. And it kind of breaks down to, it sets up and introduces Scrooge as a tight-fisted, hand-to-the-grindstone person. As hard as flint, from which as sharp as flint that has never been struck against steel to give warmth of spark. And as solitary as an oyster, and really sets that up, And then he meets Marley, who terrifies the daylights out of him. And then the Ghost of Christmas Past guilts the daylights out of him. The Ghost of Christmas Present really guilts him and then brings it back home twice.
The Ghost of Christmas Present kind of not so much guilts him, just slaps him upside the head and said, this is the way things really are. Yeah. People hate you.
Well, in the book, it's like they really, not only do people hate you, but you should really feel bad. And plus, in the book, I haven't seen it in any of the movies. There was that animated one that you showed me scenes from the other day.
Yeah, we didn't watch the newest one. I think it came out in 2009. It had Jim Carrey playing the voice of Ebenezer Scrooge, and it was CG. But we watched the scene with Jacob Marley in that one. It was scary.
That's the first time I've seen somebody be brave enough to have Marley's jaw fall off, and they kind of make it into kind of
the way he's kind of like using it to talk.
Yeah, and so, but it's scary, and then it's funny, and then it's scary again. But in the book, it's like it's guilt, slap guy with reality, and then right at the end of Christmas Present, as he's getting older, Scrooge notices little feet coming out of his great coat. Christmas Present always has this huge great coat on him, a robe. And he notices, Spirit, I noticed something that is maybe a bit forward of me, but I noticed something that's not quite yours poking out from under your coat. And it's two children, a boy and a girl. One, they're scrawny, gaunt, starved, sallow-eyed, yellowed skin, very malnourished looking, just horrible, like something out of a charity drive, I guess. But just horrible looking children. One is want, one is ignorance. Yeah. So laying on more guilt. But then he says, and the Christmas present uses the line twice, from which when the two charity collectors go to his office towards the beginning at the counting house. Well, if they're going to die, then they better do it and decrease the surplus population. Ghost of Christmas Present uses that line when he sees Tiny Tim, and then again when he reveals those two children to Scrooge. So he lays that line down twice on Scrooge, laying it out more guilt and regret, wanting him to feel more regret and remorse. And then Christmas Future really brings it all back around again with more terror.
Oh, man. In the Muppets Christmas Carol, the Ghost of Christmas Future is terrifying.
Looks like a Dementor.
He does.
I swear, the Ghost of Christmas Future is definitely the inspiration for Dementors.
And, of course, he never talks. He just points.
Yes, which was true to the book.
Creepy.
Creepy. I mean, it's hard to actually say which one is more terrifying, that one or Mickey's Christmas Carol.
See, Mickey's Christmas Carol, I think this one's more terrifying because
Mickey's Pete's Christmas pretty Carol, scary.
Yeah, at least Pete talks at some point, but then, he slaps him into the grave and the casket opens up and it's like these hell flames coming out.
As he's dangling by a root falling into the grave.
Yeah. Yeah. Both are, one of them's scary, just, scary. The other one's scary, creepy.
Back when it was okay to traumatize their kids into behaving.
Yeah.
Be right or you're going to hell.
But we were talking about this yesterday, bringing up the Mickey's Christmas Carol, that for just like it was like a half-hour time slot.
Oh yeah.
And about 20 minutes worth of actual footage, they were able to hit all the points, the important points of the story, and still, have it work. And that's the one I grew up watching, was the Mickey's Christmas Carol. It came out in the early 80s, just like a year or two before I was born. So, that's the one I grew up watching.
Yeah, a couple days ago I helped myself. Great audiobooks on Spotify. It's free. Go check it out. They have a really good version of that on there. It's on Spotify. And I was listening to that. And I think the audiobook on there, it's in three or four sections. I think it is. Future Me, look that up, please. And I think the total runtime, all those sections put together, was probably close to like somewhere between 3 and 4 hours.
Yeah, it's not a very long book.
No. But to be able to take 3 or 4 hours, I don't know what that translates into pages, probably a good couple hundred. And to take that, and the Mickey's Christmas Carol is 26 minutes total runtime. That's including opening and closing titles, which are a good couple minutes each. So you've really got 20 minutes to lay out the story of Scrooge's redemption.
And what I like about it,
impressive.
It is impressive. It's very impressive. And what I like about that is it's kind of like a scrapbook of Disney characters, because Disney characters from every movie, show, whatever have you, is in there.
Yeah, and one thing that kind of plays with my mind was it's much more recently made than I thought, because you see Uncle Waldo from Aristocats in there, and you looked it up that it was made in 83, and the animation style looks much older. It looks
like classic Disney.
Yeah, it looks 50s.
Yeah. I like Uncle Waldo, especially when he's been marinated.
Yeah, because his collar's all screwed up, his hat's still flopped open, and there's no missing him.
Yeah.
What was her name? The Lady Marion's
Abigail Gabble.
Amelia
and Abigail. That's what
they're probably in there, but
Mr. Toad was Fezziwig.
Old Fezziwig, yeah.
And
what was her name from Robin Hood?
Maid Marian?
Not Maid Marian. Her attendant.
Oh, Lady Cluck.
Lady Cluck.
Yeah,
she's in there.
Yeah, the kids from Robin Hood. Cyril is pulling.
Cyril. Is it Cyril or Cyril?
Cyril.
Cyril.
He's pulling Donald's cart, and Ratty and Molly are the ones asking for donations, and it's just a scrapbook of Disney characters.
It is like a 20-minute
like
cameo.
It's like, spot the character. It's like, okay, he's from that, he's from that, he's from that. Of course, Jimmy Cricket as the Ghost of Christmas Past. Willie the Giant is the Ghost of Christmas Present, and Big Bag Pete is the Ghost of Christmas Future. But
it is one, and Goofy was Marley.
Yeah, Goofy was Jacob Marley. In Muppets Christmas Carol, they added Robert Marley, and I keep getting them confused, Robert and Jacob. So for some reason, I go to Robert Marley instead of Jacob Marley. But
is that just because of Bob Marley?
No.
Okay.
It's never. Anyway, there's one other version of the Christmas Carol that I think is great, aside from Muppets and Mickey, and that's Mr. Magoo.
Mr. Magoo.
Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol.
Oh my word! I'd forgotten about that. Just blankety blank blank. No good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's great. It's
it's probably one of the best Mr. Magoo episode movies you could find.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, they're. I don't know. I'll have to look. If not, my brother has it on DVD.
Yeah.
We could borrow it from him.
Well, I'm just saying, go to your Pirate Bay. I don't know, LimeWire. Be careful.
We're totally dating ourselves right now.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Hey, go to I don't know. Use your Fire Stick. What are the kids doing these days?
For a silly character as Mr. Magoo is, and it's still, there are parts in there that still bring the feels.
That's an important thing for really any Christmas movie, is to make you laugh, make you think, and make you feel. And it's got to be able to do at least two of those, preferably make you laugh and make you feel.
Professor Frank, make you laugh, make you think.
That monkey's gonna pay.
It made me think of that the way you said that.
I mean, and Simpsons have had several Christmas specials. I think Santa's Little Helper is probably one of my favorites.
That's the first one, I think.
Yeah. And I think that one is my favorite Christmas special because it's the most feel. Yeah,
you really start to feel for Homer having to, do what he can to bring in money, and then Bart finds out, and they're just, bottom of the barrel. Try a day at the track. Maybe we can make some money for Christmas,
Yeah.
Because he had lost his job.
Yeah.
Again.
I mean, you see Homer, like, really doing anything he can just to make his family happy, just to bring it. I mean, that's king of, Homer kinged it right there.
Yeah, he wasn't always so stupid.
No.
In the earlier seasons, I think that's season 2.
Yeah.
Or the end of season 1, but
somewhere in there, we'll look it up.
Yeah, the earlier seasons, he's much more competent person and father. So I don't know what happened along the way. Yeah.
No, up to about season 7-ish, Homer was a viable person. Like, you could actually leave him with a box of crayons, and he wouldn't shove them up his nose.
But he did that.
That episode came later, I think.
Yeah.
The old Crayola oblongata.
But anyway, back to the plot.
Back to the plot, yeah.
There's 2 on here that are probably my all-time favorite Christmas specials. The Garfield Christmas special and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And the Garfield Christmas special, Jim Davis must have met my family. Because every single person in that special is one of my family members.
Like,
I'm not joking.
Serious physical resemblance. Even the clothing.
Physical and...
Doc Boy looks like... not Doc Boy. Dad looks like Papa.
Yeah. Yeah, not just physically, but their characters.
Yeah.
He had to have met my family at some point. Because, the grandma was my Mima BJ. The mom was my Mima Zoe. Dad was Papa. Doc Boy was my Uncle Raz. This was my family, and it's so creepy because they
I don't
all
know, does that make
act
Odie
like
Aaron?
That. Yes.
Just because he's wacky.
Yeah.
In a really lovable way.
But yeah, it's uncanny because yeah. But it's still fun, It's got the songs, it's got the morals, it's got the comedy from Garfield and classic Garfield and Friends type era.
Yeah.
And the grandma cracks me up. She wears this pink sweater with a big yellow star in the middle. And when my mom became a grandma, I made her one of those shirts.
She loved it. And I love that it's like, the sweater with the star on it and cons.
Yeah, and jeans. That was
cuffed jeans.
Yeah, that was my Mima BJ because she was short, so she cuffed her jeans. And she always wore jeans with sweaters and a dickie. Every occasion. Jeans, sweater, dickie. It's what she wore. And she had, the old lady fro like she does in the show.
Yep.
Same as my Mima Zoe. She had old lady fro. And just like her or any other Southern mom, way too much food on the table. It's my family. And so that's why I think it's so funny.
Which is so funny because we looked it up. Jim Davis grew up in Indiana.
Yeah, nowhere near
so I guess was. Some of that stuff translates to the Midwest.
I guess.
Those Midwest traditions,
Yeah, he did grow up on a farm. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jim Davis, like most good artists, you go with what you know. You're right from where your own experience. So him growing up on a farm, and that's why John Arbuckle was always kind of the fish out of water, out of place through a lot of the comics and cartoons.
Yeah, because he was a country boy that went to the city.
Yeah.
The classic trope.
And he actually did have a brother. His brother stayed on the farm where Jim Davis went into the town to become a cartoonist. And well, I mean, back in those days, you didn't remote work. You couldn't Zoom. That hadn't been done yet. So you had to be in town to be able to make your cartoons and submit them to the editor, and hopefully they approve it. And it's a whole process. Yeah. But you had to be in town for it.
Yeah. But it's so funny to me because, it's like,
when did he start? Probably the 70s?
Oh, I don't know.
I'd have to look up. Future me, look that up. Leave us something right about there. Can you leave a banner? Got it. Thank you. Good job, Future me.
Sorry. But How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the classic cartoon.
With one of the greatest voices of the 20th century.
I do not think that cartoon would be nearly as good without Thurl Ravenscroft singing that song. Everyone loves that song.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
And and I and Lily too, when we were small, we were Cindy Lou Who.
Yes. The dimple, the curls, the golden
blonde, hair. We had the pink nightgowns.
We made sure Lily had a couple of pink nightgowns, I think.
Yeah, we actually bought her one to dress her up as Cindy Lou Who.
That's right.
Got like half a picture out of it. But,
Well, by the time she was 2, she discovered running and would stand still.
And she didn't like wearing things on her head. So that little headband I made her with the little dealies.
Oh, yeah, the antennae. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was something they left out in the movie, the antennae, and I'm glad they did. It would
I mean, their noses are already kind of freaky, so.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing.
But like other Who cartoons that Chuck Jones did, like, Horton Hears a Who, they don't have them either, so I guess it was just a one-time thing. So.
I don't know. A lot of times they're not meant to be sequiturs. They're non sequiturs, I think. I don't know.
But anyway, but that song, and
it really does. That song is what sells it.
Yeah, I think so. And it's funny because there are certain things you think every single time you watch them. It's like when the Grinch got stuck only once for a minute or two. There is no way you would have been able to get out of that.
No.
No way.
But
You're
he's
dead.
the Grinch. He perseveres. Yes,
Yeah.
people do get stuck in chimneys
And
every year.
die.
Yes. You get the cute idea, oh, I'll shimmy down the fireplace and surprise my children, get dressed as Santa, and it goes badly.
Yeah.
People or burglars sometimes get stuck. Yep. They get, either have to
And
call
then
the
after a while, the family's going, "What's that smell?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
You either try and scream for help or try and get yourself out and die. Yeah. Yeah.
But
it doesn't go well. Don't do it.
it's dumb. Yeah. But
Just don't.
Santa has magic powers. Okay.
That's right. Look at him. Look at him. He's magic.
He's magic. Magic.
You call forth the bravest knight in all the land? You got us instead.
Too bad you got us instead. But yeah, those two I think that are on this tape are my favorites.
Yeah. Continuing on the Grinch, the Jim Carrey Grinch Who Stole Christmas, I think it's good.
I didn't like it the first couple times I saw it, but I
Kinda
think
grew
it's
on you?
because I was comparing it to the cartoon.
Yeah, you have to take it
You
on
have
its
to
own.
take it on its own. Yeah, because after a while, watching it a couple more times, it's like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah.
You know,
And
you get past Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, and you can see him as the Grinch. And
yeah.
hey, okay,
Hey.
yeah.
Welcome back.
Technical difficulties.
Sudden loss of electricity there.
Yeah, it's okay. We fixed it.
That little duct tape, zip ties, little chewing gum.
So,
Jim Carrey as the Grinch.
Jim Carrey is the Grinch. Yeah, because the first time I saw it, I didn't really like it. I thought the way the Who's looked were freaky.
They're a little weird.
Yeah.
They're a little weird.
But, it's still silly. It's goofy. There's a lot of... Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, I think, is the best parts of that movie.
Yeah.
The over-the-topness of Jim Carrey. Like, when...
That was a hard role for him, too.
Oh, yeah. He had to, go through, torture training.
To be able to...
the
hours
work
of
in
makeup.
that suit.
Yeah. And it really spoke to his ability to act, to be that character and not a person in a suit. There's a lot of times you can see somebody wearing a suit in a movie, and you could tell it's somebody just wearing a suit, wearing a suit, whereas he kind of became one with it, and that really speaks to his abilities.
Yeah, I used to be a big fan of Jim Carrey. As he got older, he got a little bit too crazy for me, but as an actor, he was always a great actor.
I've seen some of his art, and I don't get it.
I think he's the only one who gets it. But
that's
art in general. Usually, the artist is the only one who gets it, and even if they don't get it, they say they do, and spew out some technobabble about what it means. And,
yeah. Duct tape, a banana duct tape to a wall is not art.
yeah, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now.
No.
But yeah, Jim Carrey, there are parts in there where you have to ask yourselves, okay, was that scripted or was that just Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey?
Column A, little column B.
Like when he goes to pull the tablecloth off that table to make an outfit out of it. And all the stuff stays where it is.
Yeah.
And he comes back, knocks everything down, tips the table over, and walks away.
Yes.
It's like, okay, was that scripted or was that just Jim Carrey?
I'm going to say that was ad-libbed.
But yeah, in the part at the end where his heart grows 3 sizes and he's just sitting there for a horribly long extended time, just it's goes on much longer than it should have, and that's what makes it funny.
Yeah, it goes from heartwarming and endearing to a little awkward, and then it's funny.
Yeah. Starts up this sleigh, that feels good.
So that's another one of those. I think he threw that in. And another one of those key scenes of it's like, yeah, it's like the sleigh, the toys, they'll be destroyed, and I care. What is the deal? Yeah,
it gets even confusing for him. And I like the part during the
I can relate to that. It's like sometimes like, why do I care about this thing?
Yeah. And there's a part in the song that always cracks me up. He goes, your heart's an empty hole. Like has a flamethrower going.
Just like really over the top, out of key singing.
I don't know. I think he did pretty good, but But yeah, once you like step away from the past renditions of it and take it for what it is, I think it's much more enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, that speaks to a lot of things that get remade or reimagined. You have to kind of try and take them on them by themselves. And I hold myself accountable to that when I watched the newer Star Trek movies. Growing up on Jim Kirk and Picard, I watched especially episodes 2 and episodes number 6, Wrath of Khan and I can't word all of a sudden.
Undying Lands?
Undiscovered Country.
There.
Good word, sorry. Wrath
of Khan. You're not talking for.
Yeah, it's a good thing I don't talk for a living, huh? Should have got a degree in communications, I guess. I don't know. But, anyway. Sorry, another Simpsons reference. But, watching those, we were actually talking about this at work the other day. It's like Chris, I was telling Levon about your tape. And he's like, oh, it makes you think of, when you were a kid. It's like, actually, movies for me, when I think of movies I watched a lot at Christmas, it's Wrath of Khan, Undiscovered Country, and Die Hard 2.
Yeah, everyone says that the Die Hard movies are Christmas movies.
I mean, technically, it's
well, I mean, that's just like kind of a conversation we had around Halloween time. It's like, what constitutes a Halloween movie and just a movie that's usually shown around Halloween?
Yeah, well, I mean, at least 1 and 2, Die Hard 1 and 2, they actually take place on Christmas.
Okay.
So that's why it gets that. Yeah, technically. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's still Bruce Willis shooting bad guys and everything blows up, but it's on Christmas, and that being Christmas season plays into it, especially in the second one where they're at the airport and everyone's getting snowed in.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I didn't see any of them. I'm a girl.
No, yeah, they are dumb guy movies. Everything explodes. Everyone's got automatic weapons. Yeah.
But I mean, other movies that take place around Christmas, tying this into something that just recently happened, the Home Alone movies. Macaulay Culkin just got a star on the Walk of Fame.
About time.
Yeah.
I thought he had one from 30 years ago when
he was relevant.
Yeah.
Ouch. But it was really, really sweet because Catherine O'Hara showed up to be there with him. She's like, as your fake mom, I wanted to be here because even though I wasn't there for you when I left you home alone twice. But yeah, she was there to be there with him, and I thought that was sweet.
Yeah, I like that. Nowadays we have the internet and we have people talking to each other. They pointed out the glaring plot hole in both of those movies. A phone call to a nearby friend or relative would have changed.
They had to have had somebody else they known in that town, or even just call the police department. Yeah. It's like, you don't need a cell phone. I'm sure the police department that they were at in wherever city they went to, would have been able to look up the number for you and let you use the phone. Yeah.
I mean, in the second one, he's using his dad's credit cards everywhere. I'm sure they could have found out where he was staying. Mm-hmm. But, without that, you wouldn't have had a movie. So
it's funny because they do kind of address something about that in the second one. And when the family gets there and they're talking to the hotel staff, it's like, what kind of hotel lets a small boy check in unaccompanied? They're like, well, he had a very convincing story.
Again, Tim Curry.
Yeah.
He was the jerky bell
manager.
Manager.
He's the hotel manager. Yeah.
More Tim Curry. Yes. Can never have too much.
But yeah, we were all about those movies when we were kids.
Oh yeah.
They were new when we were kids. So, yeah.
And those are good Christmas movies. They're fun.
And like, even watching them again now, there's still so much like funny themes in it, just aside from, the booby traps he sets to get the robbers.
Classic slapstick.
Yeah. But like, how everyone knocks over that jockey at the front of their driveway. That jockey keeps getting knocked over by everybody.
Yeah.
It's like little running jokes like that. And, listening to Kino, which is the oldies station here, in the mornings, taking Lily to school, every now and then I hear that song that his uncle was singing in the shower.
Oh, the Cool Jerk.
Cool Jerk.
Cool Jerk. Everybody doing the Cool Jerk.
I always think of that. I always think of that when I hear that song.
What's funny was the scene he uses, I believe you, but my Tommy gun don't.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Christmas, you filthy animal.
They actually made like pieces of a fake movie to play in their movie. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like people have tried to find that movie. It's like Sinners of Angels or something like that. It's like some crazy, some film noir sounding movie, but they filmed those scenes to use in a scene. They filmed the movie in a movie.
And there's actually a scene where he was watching How the Grinch Stole Christmas too. So classic.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh man, but
ooh, another little Easter egg. Okay, when Kevin is in Buzz is his older brother. Buzz. Yeah. He's in his room.
Girlfriend.
The girlfriend. That was actually, I think that was either the actor who played Buzz or like the director's son.
The director's son, yeah.
In a wig. Yeah.
Because they didn't feel right about taking a girl, putting her in that picture and having him go, woof, insulting a girl.
Yeah.
Because of how she looked. So he had his son
put on
up.
a wig and take a picture. It's like, just a moment, like, you, sir. The director had that much, presence of mind. Like, let's not belittle a little girl just for a quick gag.
Yeah. Yeah.
My man. I salute you, sir.
But this tape I have here has so many Christmas specials on it that like either have been forgotten or you didn't even know exist. Like there's a Tiny Toons one. Oh, another one of many, 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 many Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Parodies,
renditions, whatever.
Yeah, you've said that you've never actually seen It's a Wonderful Life.
I've never actually seen A Wonderful Life, but I don't need to.
You've seen a million parodies.
I've seen it, redone a million times. So,
and actually, I'm going to say I have seen It's a Wonderful Life a couple of times, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Tiny Toons Adventure is a pretty doggone good parody, given that it gives a good runtime in which to do it, and it hits all the key points, and it's really good to have Clarence the Angel have Jimmy Stewart's voice.
Yeah,
that's a nice tie back, kind of looks like Jimmy Stewart too.
Yeah, but there's the classic Warner Brothers Tiny Toons humor in it as well.
Oh yeah, gobs of it.
It's like we were watching it the other night, and they're doing this Christmas special with a bunch of, celebrity guest stars, and there's Bob Hope on there. It's like, how many kids nowadays would know who Bob Hope is?
Sadly, no.
How many young adults nowadays would know who Bob Hope is?
If not for my dad, I probably wouldn't know, really.
If not for that Christmas special, I wouldn't have known really.
Really? See, I owe this one to my dad. He made sure that there for a while there we would go to the library and get a bunch of movies. And amongst the ones that he grabbed, because I probably wouldn't have picked them up, I wouldn't have, thought about it at the time. I was, 17, 19, somewhere in there. Mm. And the Road series, Road to Bali, Road to Morocco. It's the Bob Hope and Bing Crosby doing some they're on this hero's journeys, and a lot of those movies are a little repetitive, kind of very similar. They get stuck somewhere, and it's just the two of them. They can only rely on each other, but they know each other the whole time. Mm-hmm. In one of those movies, in the way that if you didn't know they were best friends, you'd swear they hated each other.
There's
Annoying
a lot
each other.
of relationships like that.
Annoying each other in a way that only two bros can annoy each other. Two bros that have each other's backs will annoy each other to no ends. But they're great movies.
Yeah. And Tiny Toon Adventures. There's a For Better For Worse one that's the classic, Elizabeth's not feeling appreciated because she's the middle child, and turns out, she goes missing and everyone, freaks out, and she realizes they care after all. Heartwarming stuff, but
it's hard being the middle child.
I know it is, honey. I don't know because I wasn't a middle child, but I know. But yeah,
Middle children unite.
But there's one on there that I really love, and it's claymation is a dead art, unfortunately.
It really is.
You would have to go out of your way just for the nostalgia of it for somebody to make a claymation movie.
The production costs are astronomical,
and the time it takes to make it is a very long time. But there's
labor intensive doesn't begin to describe it.
Yeah.
If anybody's curious, Nightmare Before Christmas was probably one of the last feature films to be done in claymation.
Well, it wasn't claymation; it was puppets, but it was stop motion.
Stop motion, yeah. Well, claymation, puppets, yeah, so it's stop motion.
It's stop motion, but claymation, as the name insinuates,
it's all modeling clay.
Clay,
yeah, yeah.
But there's a special on here called Claymation Christmas, and it's so great. You gotta love the classic claymation because it takes these dinosaur versions of Siskel and Ebert,
which it wasn't actually them, but it's a damn good
rendition.
Parody, rendition. It's two guys who sound like a voice. What's the word I'm looking for? Voice impersonator. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're going through all these classical Christmas songs, and there's little shorts made for each song, little videos and stuff. And at the beginning of the special, they hear somebody singing "Here We Come a Wassailing," but they're getting the lyrics wrong.
Yeah.
First, it's a bunch of geese saying "Here we come a waddling." They're like, "No, you're making an error."
Different versions. Yeah.
Yeah, wassailing or waddling, waffling,
wallowing. Just a bunch of pigs in mud.
Yeah, and they keep trying to tell. No, it's wassailing.
It's wassail. I just know it's wassail.
Yeah. So like,
I can't remember which one's which. The tall, skinny one. He's the straight man. Yeah, he's the serious one.
And he's like, just trying to, figure out, a way to convince all these people that they're getting the lyrics wrong. But in the meantime, they're doing, Christmas carols,
Joy to the World,
We Three Kings,
Little Drummer Boy. I think they do Little Drummer.
No, they don't do Little Drummer Boy.
Oh, okay.
But
anyways,
they close it out.
Carol the Bells.
Carol the Bells. That one was fun. I think that one's my favorite.
That one's funny. That one's just very funny.
It is. It's Quasimodo
directing the bells.
Yeah, conducting the bells. But there's one really dumb bell that messes everything up. But but they close out the whole special with 80s and 90s staple. The
California
raisins.
Oh my God. My mom had all of them. She had the full set. Yes, she had the set. They were popular in their time, man. I mean, they had their time. They had their moment in the sun. Because that's how you make raisins.
Yeah. But you know what? It got a lot of kids to eat raisins.
It did. It did.
It worked.
It worked. Sun-made raisins were like, kids were nuts for them. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it also got kids to listen to those older, I don't know what you call it, Motown, doo-wop music. Yeah. Good stuff, man. Check it out. Check it out, yo.
But yeah, they do a version of Rudolph.
Yeah.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And it's just a lovable little, and finally at the very, very end, car full of Irish elves show up getting the song right.
Wassailing.
So,
which in the previous episode, those old tongues, yeah, it's to your health, to your well-being.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, they stop a minute in there, and he's looking up. I know it's
they have
wassail from the old Anglo-Saxon word meaning to your health.
Yeah. But there was like another definition too that had nothing to do with Christmas. It's like, well, maybe it's that. It's like, it's not that. I'd have to watch it again.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's something like you're not going to get anymore. And I'm glad we got it on tape. Yeah. Because otherwise we'd never be able to watch it. We'd
have to find a way to digitize this. Yeah. Because, I mean, that's kind of along the same lines of when we were doing Halloween specials, the Halloween that almost wasn't.
Oh, yeah. That was... Oh, wow.
It'd be fun to collect more things like that, recorded off local TV, like the way they did, because they were Chicago-based. And so they're collecting all of those. But I think it'd be fun to have more of those.
Yeah.
But just to be able to preserve that, it'd be really good to preserve that somehow, digitize it.
Yeah. And going back to Tiny Toons real quick, one of the reasons why I love watching the Tiny Toons on here is because we had programmed the VCR to tape during this time frame. So we weren't there to pause out the commercials. So all the 92 commercials are in there, and it is hilarious.
That's what makes it. That's what part of what makes it such a time capsule.
Yeah, like there's like this car Lego toy that they're pushing. It's like red, white, and dude. Accelerate most righteously. It's like, oh my god. It's like we talked that way in 92. But the big thing that was coming out,
surfer lingo, gnarly, excellent.
But the big thing that was coming out that year was Mario Kart.
Yeah,
and so like a bunch of Mario Kart commercials on there,
and the Super Scope,
for Nintendo, Wario World.
A lot of Nintendo commercials.
And something we've noticed on one of the commercials on there is still being run today. 30s, at least 31 years later, every single year you see that Hershey Kiss commercial where their little bells ding 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 ding. I saw it this year.
Yes, their tradition continues.
So it still goes 30 plus years, and
I love it.
It's so simple. It doesn't,
it's timeless.
It's timeless, yeah, and
it could be used. It can and has been used for 3 decades. And will probably continue to be used because there's nothing to date it.
Yeah, and there's nothing to poke at it and it's like, oh, this is wrong. You should take it off. It's just simple. It's Hershey Kisses playing.
We wish you a Merry Christmas through bells.
Bells, yeah.
It's perfect, and I love that it's become a tradition unto itself. Who said all traditions have to be ancient? This one could be, just because it's new.
Stood the test of time for the past 30 years. So
was it Zoidberg's home planet?
Oh yeah, it's only 19 years old.
But just because it's a new tradition, it's still a tradition. Hooray!
But also, the Tiny Toons Adventures doing the Wish a Wonderful Life parody. There's another more mid to late 90s Christmas special on there, which the Beavis and Butthead.
Oh yeah,
Christmas special.
That's on there too?
That's on there.
Okay, I didn't know if that was on the same tape.
They do a spoof of A Wonderful Life, kind of twisting it around a little bit. Instead of showing how great Beavis or Butthead's life would have been if he wasn't born, you show how horrible
instead it's like because the premise of It's a Wonderful Life is George Bailey feels like his life is just complete misery, and he wonders if the world would have been better off without him.
And it turns out it wasn't.
Yeah, so Clarence shows him a world in which George Bailey had never existed, and thus highlighting all the good things that he had done for others.
Mm-hmm. In this one, it shows how much how much better the world would have been if Butthead wasn't around. It's like
Beavis has a job.
His Mr. Anderson's yard isn't all ruined. Principal McVicker still has hair because he hadn't lost it due to the stress of dealing with them.
Dealing with those two. He's not an alcoholic hiding booze in his desk.
Yeah, the burger world they worked at was like they had lines out the door. It's like, see, it would have been a really wonderful life without you. Because he's trying to
convince Butthead to end it.
Yeah, well, God had told their guardian angel, you got to kill them. These guys are nothing but trouble. And he's like, I can't do it. I'm an angel. I'm not meant to kill people. So he's trying to get them to voluntarily commit suicide.
How big of a turd do you have to be for God to say, no, man, you should not have been. You should not have been.
But there's a spoof of Wonderful Life, and there's a spoof of The Christmas Carol. And where... I'm trying to remember the message they're trying to get across to be... Oh, because Beavis was like the manager of Burger World. They're dreaming because they made him work on Christmas Eve and they're tired, so they fall asleep and it's a dream Beavis is having, one of them. And yeah,
I don't think I remember this one.
Yeah, he was like the manager of Burger World, and Principal McVicker was his employee, and they're like, you got to raise his salary because look at all these children he has. They can't afford to eat. And if you don't, change your ways and raise his salary, they're all going to die. And he's like, no, man, he's stealing food. He should be fired. Like the whole time Beefs is trying to watch a porno and these ghosts keep interrupting it. He's like, God dang it, why I watch my porno? It was bad. But yeah, the Ghost of Christmas Future was... Mr. Buzzcut, Coach Buzzcut.
Oh, man.
So he like slaps him around a bunch and yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, we'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, really
Cook up some
dating
popcorn.
ourselves with Beavis and Butthead there.
Yeah, I watched the newer movie, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't really feel... I felt like it would have been trying too hard.
Kinda.
Or putting characters that aren't relevant anymore, like their characters aren't relevant anymore into a situation where,
Well,
it's more
I mean,
relevant.
it kind of staples it in to the modern time, our current times of, I think it was 2021 when it came out.
A few years ago.
Yeah. But into current times for us right now. And so Beavis and Butthead, I mean, that's 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it brings them forward through some great, like, Star Trek level technobabble science baloney, wormhole time loop kind of gig. Fantastic baloney. And so it's, but you know what? That's the thing about as much as the Hershey's commercial is timeless, so are stupid teenagers. Because
there's always going to be stupid teenagers. It's a law. I mean, there's a time in your life to be completely stupid, and it's when you're a teenager.
Yeah, it's just some people abuse their privilege.
Yeah, because we used to work at an arcade, and I used to see teenagers coming in, and I thought to myself, it's like, God damn, was I that dumb when I was their age? It's like, I just hope that when they get older to be my age, they look back on themselves and say, God damn, was I that dumb?
It's like Buzz Lightyear, tell me I wasn't this delusional. That's one of the great running gags of all those movies is every time Buzz has one of those self-reflected moments.
Yeah. But anyway.
Where was I going with this? Yeah. Beavis and Butthead do the universe. They're not as powerful and not as popular as they were way back then. And I think that they knew that. But it works pretty good.
It's like, well, they brought him back in a series not that long, probably about 6 or 7 years ago, where they were, instead of watching videos, they were watching reality shows.
And there's endless amounts of ways to make fun of people on reality shows because they're stupid shows.
They are. Like they were watching, I think Jersey Shore, and making fun of it. Yeah, and
really going for the
I didn't get to see any of those, but like the classic ones, them commenting on the music videos. I thought that was so funny.
Well, there are some really bad music videos out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of like riff tracks, you know, the Mystery Science Theater thing. Their comments over the videos.
Yeah, at some point we've got a couple of lists of we've talked about doing some music video reviews.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
music videos that took $5 to make,
or the yeah,
or just some of our favorites.
Just some of our favorites. Yeah. But yeah, the Beavis and Butthead made a Christmas special.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some others that are on that team. Because only a few are written on the labels.
Oh.
But yeah, for better, for worse, there's a family circus one on there.
Yeah.
And
but we don't really. We skip those.
Well, I mean, you know, they're good to have, you know, for history's sake. But yeah, they're not my favorites. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, they'll probably come to me in a little bit. But yeah.
So I think, you know, but okay, so Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, a lot of
people. Would you count that?
Well, we had this discussion on our other
yeah, Jive with Tony, Jive Ass Alien.
Yeah, on our other podcast.
A lot of people watch that movie. Comes up, you know, twice a year.
Yeah, and I think it could be classified as both. So if you want to watch it around this time of year, go for it. Because Lily watched it the other day. She calls it Christmas spooky, and yeah, it's like most of it takes place revolving around Christmas, because the Halloween part's really just at the very beginning.
Yeah.
But after that, everything's like kind of revolves around Christmas. So that's why a lot of people think it's a Christmas movie. And it could be both. I personally think it could be both. So
yeah. You know what? Speaking of shows you wouldn't expect a Christmas special, even Adventure Time had a kind of a Christmas special.
Yeah, it was a
The Snow Golem episode.
Oh, the Snow Golem? I was thinking about the one that's actually labeled a holiday one, where they're going through Simon's old videos.
Those were hard episodes to watch because it's you're
like the first. It's the first time, and they say it in the videos. The first time you feel pity for the Ice King.
Yeah,
and they said so every year they gather around and wear ugly sweaters and remember the first time they felt empathy for the Ice King.
Yeah,
because that's the first time you see him as Simon.
Yeah. Really,
Simon Petrikov.
They're hard episodes to get through because, you know, you're expecting Adventure Time. It's wacky, it's crazy, it's going on adventures. You know, it's just wacky stuff always happening to him. But it wasn't. They find a briefcase full of, I forgot what they called it. They were looking for treasure.
They're basically VHS.
Yeah,
videos.
They were VHS. But I forget what they called it. You know.
But they're like the Ice King's video diaries.
Yeah.
And they're like think that the Ice King's up to something. It's like he's up to something. We don't know what it is, but there's got to be a clue on these videos. We got to watch all these videos to find out what the Ice King's up to. And it's basically just videos and videos of him crying. But
yeah, well, magic, madness, and sadness, as Betty lays out.
Yeah, but in like the very last one they watched, it's like a video that he took before he became the Ice King, and they're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, it catalogs him as he's going from Simon to being the Ice King.
Yeah,
you could see the changes coming over him.
Yeah, his skin turns blue, his nose is starting to get long, the beard's coming in. Yeah, and like he's talking about how the madness is taking him over, and it's really, really well made. I mean,
yeah,
for what's classified as a kids show, it's, you know, very heartfelt.
Yeah,
like dramatic.
So, I mean, that's true of Adventure Time. You know, for being a kids cartoon, it gets heavy sometimes.
Oh yeah. A lot of people think, or I've talked to a few people who's like, oh, I've tried to watch Adventure Time, couldn't really get into it. It's like, well, after maybe the third season,
yeah,
it really gets heavy.
Yeah.
And
well, the first season is just non sequitur silliness.
Yeah, establishing the characters.
Yeah.
And having them do silly stuff too.
And that's fun. That's fine.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, after the first 3 or 4 seasons, like really heavy stuff starts to happen. You know, the
I think
Lich,
you're right. Third season sounds about right.
yeah, fighting the Lich, Finn finding his dad, Finn finding his mom.
The Islands series, yeah.
That's way towards the end, yeah.
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 Then you got vampire.
The vampires.
Fangs.
Yeah.
The Fangs Caesar.
Stakes.
Yeah, Stakes. Finding out about Marceline's
Marceline,
past.
yeah.
Her always dealing with her dad. Going to the Nightosphere.
And then there's Princess Bubblegum Bonnie going through her past and
what the blubbins, lady? You're not 19. You're like 1,000. She just shrugs that off and laughs.
But yeah, it goes into like the pasts of all these characters, and even though they're kind of seem happy and fun loving on the surface, they like went through some hardcore stuff.
Yeah, and well, you gotta roll your way through it, man. I mean, stuff's gonna go wrong in life, and you just gotta remember that tomorrow is good. There's always a tomorrow.
There's always a tomorrow.
Or at least
tomorrow.
You can hope that there's always a tomorrow. Yeah.
Love you tomorrow.
Good old Shirley Temple.
No, Annie.
Was that? Oh, that was Little Orphan Annie.
Yeah.
My mistake. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen any Shirley Temple movies.
I've seen a few. My grandma liked them, so she watched them with me. Anyway,
I think that's all the movies we had.
This
has turned out to be kind of a short episode.
I don't know. I can't really tell because it's been in 2 parts because we had a power failure. Yeah. But the memory card's not full yet, so yeah.
We're still under an hour and a half, so we're taking it easy. Besides, you know what? We know we understand. You've got a lot to do too.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll wrap up there, and rather than drag this thing out.
Okay. Well, yeah. If you have any favorite Christmas specials, let us know.
Yeah.
Maybe we could watch them and talk about them later.
We'll discuss them.
I
was it?
Yes, got it right.
Got it. It was on B
for ba-dum-bum.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah, little traditions. Gotta love them.
Not all traditions need to be ancient. Sometimes they can be modern.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. So tell us, what are some of your favorite holiday movies? Well, it doesn't have to be a Christmas movie. It can be Adam Sandler 8 Crazy Nights. I don't know.
Yeah, because
what are you doing?
We follow Christmas movies because we don't.
We grew up with it.
Christmas is the holiday we celebrate. So if you have some that are special to you, if it's a different celebration you have every year, let us know.
Yeah, what's going on?
Broaden our horizons.
Please.
Yeah,
what are you celebrating? Let us know, and we want to know more about it.
Yeah. So yeah, go watch your holiday specials. Have some eggnog. Drink some hot cocoa. Have a wonderful whatever holiday it is you celebrate.
Be joyful. Be merry.
Be nice to each other.
Be nice to each other.
Yeah, so Merry Christmas.
And we will see you in January. And till then, have fun. Toodles. Be safe. Feast.
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 Feast. Feast. Feast. Feast. Feast
the
on who puddings.
The least,
and rare poo roast beast.
Yes.
Yeah. Tying it in there.
The
right.
Grinch always fits.
It always fits, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for sticking around to the very end. And thank you for showing up, tuning in. Whether you got through YouTube or Rumble or Spotify, whatever the case may be, thanks for being here. And while you're here, maybe leave a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe, and consider subscribing. And leave a comment. Leave a comment in this comment section. What do you celebrate this time of year? And what movies or shows do you do every year? What are your traditions? We would like to know if you feel like sharing. And if we hope you share, because then I read those, and then that expands my world a little bit and lets me know a little bit more about you, the viewer, and people around the world at large. And so thank you for being here.
Hope to hear from you. And we will see you next time.